When I first saw her at the park, she was sketching under an oak tree, quiet, focused, and completely lost in her world. I remember thinking how peaceful she looked, her pencil moving across the paper like it had a secret to tell. I was just passing by, headphones in, coffee in hand, when her sketch pad fell as a gust of wind rushed through. I picked it up for her. That's how it started. Just a moment of simple kindness. "Thanks," she said with a smile that felt familiar somehow. The kind of smile that carried both strength and softness. Her name was Lena. Over the next few days, we kept running into each other at that same park. Me jogging, her sketching. One morning, she asked if I wanted to sit for a sketch. I laughed, but I agreed. Something about her calmness made me stay. That's when I noticed it. The faint tremor in her left hand. The way she shifted awkwardly when reaching for something. She hit it well, but there was a stiffness that didn't seem ordinary. Still, I said nothing. As weeks passed, we started talking more about art, music, even life's little disappointments. I'd started looking forward to seeing her, even planning my mornings around that oak tree. But one evening, something changed. I offered to walk her home since it was getting dark. She hesitated. Then, for the first time, I noticed the wheelchair folded beside her bench. She hadn't been sitting on it. She'd been trying to stand on her own, her legs trembling. I froze. She saw it in my eyes, the mix of surprise and pity. And that's when she said it. "Don't stay if you just feel sorry for me." Her voice was steady, but her eyes, they carried a storm. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to defend myself, to explain that I didn't pity her, but the truth was I didn't know what I felt. I was confused, maybe even scared of saying the wrong thing. So I sat beside her instead, silent. Then she took a deep breath and continued. "I was in an accident 2 years ago. Spinal damage. Doctors said I'd never walk again, but I do. Slowly, painfully, but I do. I don't need anyone to fix me. I just need someone who won't look at me like I'm broken." That night changed something in me. I realized how often we label people by what's visible, never seeing the battles beneath the surface. She wasn't asking for sympathy, she wanted normally. So I stayed, not out of pity, but because I wanted to learn from her strength. We started meeting every day after that. Some days she'd walk a few steps before sitting down, exhausted but smiling. Other days she'd sketch while I read beside her. One afternoon, as autumn leaves began to fall, she handed me a drawing. It was me sitting under the oak tree, looking at her with a quote written beneath. "Strength isn't about walking without falling. It's about standing again after you do." I looked at her, and for the first time I understood the depth behind her eyes, the quiet resilience of someone who refused to be defined by her pain. Months later, Lena held her first art exhibition. Every piece told a story, not of disability, but of rediscovery. She stood at the center, her cane in hand, radiant under the lights. When she saw me in the crowd, she smiled that same familiar smile. That night, she told me softly, "You didn't stay because you felt sorry. You stayed because you saw me." And she was right. Because real connection isn't about what someone lacks. It's about what they choose to give. Even when life takes so much away, Lena gave me that gift, perspective. Now, every time I see someone sitting quietly in a park, sketching, or just existing in their own rhythm, I stop for a moment. Not out of sympathy, but out of respect. Because sometimes the strongest people are the ones still learning how to. "I didn't know she was half paralyzed." Then she said, "Don't stay if."